Each of us has a torch, a passion burning inside that ignites our motivation. When it's fed, the fire spreads and helps those around us keep their own torches shining bright. Our combined light can keep any monster at bay. We bring together people from around the world, sparks of light and glowing embers with enlightening stories of kindness, success, and overcoming adversity, fanning the flames of love, compassion, and positivity, sharing their light to help those struggling in darkness. I'm John Verico, and this is Share Your Fire. And it's another exciting episode of Share Your Fire. I've got an exciting guest with me today, and I am delighted to have her here. Let me tell you, imagine suffering through lupus and then going through all the treatments and everything else, changing your diet, changing your life in order to finally overcome all of those symptoms, but still not having the joy in your life. What if you can find a way to harmonize that? My guest today is SueZee Finley, who not only found a way to harmonize her own self, but now she does it for others as well. And she is an acoustic sound therapist. And let me bring on my dear friend, SueZee Finley.
John, thank you so much. I feel like Jeannie the way you brought me in. I just popped in here. This is cool.
A lot of fun. I'm loving this system, and I'm still learning some of the ins and outs of how to bring guests in and all that fun stuff. And so thank you for letting me experiment with you today and pop you in and out.
Well, I have Riverside, and I didn't know I could do that. So that's fun. I'm going to try that. Well, I learned today, too.
I love it. I love it. Hey, so let's talk a little bit about your journey. Because you have had such an interesting, journey, the trip to travel, whatever you want to call it, to get to where you are now. So let's talk a little bit about, tell us a little bit about, what you went through.
Well, it was a journey. I was a caregiver for 3 family members, and I saw each one through hospice. And after I was through everything, I thought I was going to get a chance to get back to my artwork and everything that I loved, but I ended up getting lupus. And one day I literally woke up paralyzed from the neck down. And the doctor scared the bejesus out of me because he was like, well, you're going to need to be on immune suppressors for the rest of your life. And when I looked at the immune suppressors, I was very scared because my whole life, I never even took an aspirin. I was always one of these people. I took my vitamins. I worked out every day. The idea of anything impure in my body, I'm like, no, I wouldn't even take an aspirin. So when I looked at the ingredients and the side effects, it said, may cause blindness. And I tell the doctor, I'm not taking this. He goes, well, why not? I'm like, and I bought because I read this at home and I bought it back. I'm like, it says it may cause blindness. It almost rarely never happens.
Almost rarely, yeah.
Oh, think of the languaging. Almost rarely never. And I always have a weird imagination. So in my head, I'm thinking, can you imagine if you're on a plane and the pilot comes out and says, welcome to Almost Airlines. We almost really never crash. You wouldn't say on the plane. So I was terrified, and I didn't want to take, that prescription. But in the meantime, I had been put on a lot of prednisone, and
which has got its own issues.
A very scary thing. And I stayed on it for 10 days. And with prednisone, you have to be weaned off by a doctor because it does more things if you stop it abruptly. So I found a very good naturopathic doctor. She goes, no, you have to get off this. It does a lot of damage. But in a crisis, we all need it because it gets the inflammation down. It gets your organs to keep functioning.
Well, that's why the Go Packs that they give you, they start you off at 6 pills and then 5 pills or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to wean yourself off. But in the meantime, I felt like Superwoman because after I was on this, I said, I'm not going to need these immunosuppressants. I'm fine. And gradually it started to wear off, and I was getting more and more crippled each day. And it was really scary seeing myself deteriorate. And I was trying everything. And I was literally taking 122 supplements a day. And because when you have lupus, you have very little energy. I learned from my doctor told me this, that digestion takes a lot of energy. So she goes, don't eat a lot. I had to eat little tiny meals. And I had to take my supplements 30 at a time. So every 3 hours I was taking
30 at a time.
30 at a time. And I couldn't swallow pills because I also had this other thing called Sjogren's. So my throat was very dry and I had to take applesauce. And my hands couldn't open the applesauce jars. And I used to wait for my mailman, and I would like line them up. And then sometimes my sister and her husband would be driving around the corner. They would call me. I'd put the stuff on the on the stoop, and they would open the applesauce. So I was taking all these pills, and they were food supplements, though. They weren't like
Yeah, no.
anything like that was like making my body toxic. So they were all food supplements, and I got about 80% better. The inflammation went down, so I was able to walk again. But I never got my energy back. I didn't have the energy, and I had severe brain fog. And before that, I was a very creative person. I was sculpting and doing all these things, and I lost my oomph. I lost my zest. I lost my fire, like you light your fire. I lost that, and I didn't know what to do. I was trying all these things, and by luck, I had a friend that invited me out, my friend Marla, to go to a dowsing convention, and I was scared because it's upstate New York.
Dowsing.
Dowsing, that
Okay.
pendulums and stuff.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, this was like the best thing I ever did. So I went to this convention, but I was a little bit scared to leave because it was a weekend thing. And with lupus, you never know how you're going to feel. I always tell people lupus is to your body what kryptonite is to Superman. You're walking around and then like it's like you hit with kryptonite. And while I was in the vending area, I had one of those kryptonite moments. It was like boom, everything came on me, and I felt like I was going to faint. And I'm looking around. I'm in this beautiful vending area, but there's no place to sit. And I'm like, oh no, I'm going to pass out. What am I going to do? And there was a guy in the back, and he had a massage table. And I remember thinking, okay, I don't care what that guy's doing over there. I got to lay down on that table. So it seemed like the longest journey of my life, but I got to this table, and I sat down on the chair. When I sat down, he handed me a microphone. And I was like, what? and he's like, talk. And I was so weak, I could barely talk. And he had me say a couple of things. And he put me on this table, and he gave me this little headset. And this beautiful music started to pipe in. And I remember thinking that I felt as if there were like sound bubbles encasing like the unprocessed grief, the anxiety, all the things that I'd been going through, and like lifting them out of my head. Like it was just, and my shoulders that were always up here like this because, like I said, I was always caregiving, and there were always those little middle of the night emergency room runs. So I always was waiting for the other shoe to drop. My shoulders always here, and then the table started to vibrate, and my shoulders came down, and I was like, "What is happening?" And then after 20 minutes, I'd also fell in this beautiful sleep, and I hadn't slept in a long time. And when I got up, I was like, "Oh my God, this is the most clear my head ever felt. My body feels relaxed, like the tension melted out of it for the first time in like 15 years. It was a long time because I'd doing consecutive caregiving." And he goes, well, when you talked into the microphone, he goes, I took a reading of your voice. All the frequencies in your voice are make up the composite of all the frequencies in your body. He goes, frequencies like nutrients to your body. So I found out what you were low in, and I played it back to you. And I was like, what? I was taking 120 pills a day. What? Frequencies and nutrients? I didn't get the memo on that. And it was the biggest aha in my life because up until that point, I just saw myself as this biochemical being. So I thought everything had to do with the food I was taking and stuff like that, and medicine that people were giving you.
And that's how normally we look at ourselves.
No, yeah, no one tells us that we're electric. Nobody tells us we're magnetic. Nobody tells us that we're light. And even like you think about Frankenstein, right? They bring him to life with electricity, but we thought that was science fiction. But we are electricity. And when we start to replace that, we can charge the cells back up. And I always make analogies to my clients that, if you have something wrong with your car, right? Say your battery, you need a new battery, and you bring it to the mechanic, and he fixes your engine, he fixes your spark plugs, he gives you new tires, he paints the car. The car looks great, but the battery's dead. Is the car going to work? Right? And it's kind of like us. So I was missing this main point. I was taking these supplements. I'm eating right. I'm trying to sleep enough. I'm trying to do everything. But I didn't have the charge. And sound is pure energy. And when you know what your notes are, even when you don't know what your notes are, you can still charge yourself simply by humming, singing. I love working with tuning forks. But everything you need to be a sound therapist, you're born with. And that's why I love telling people about humming. And it's like the number one thing you can do.
So first of all, having known you for a little while, I just can never picture you as the no energy,
Yeah, it was
because you're always so perky and full of energy. and then to find out that your own voice was able to cure you. Now I know you're not truly cured from lupus, but all of the symptoms are you're asymptomatic, and look at your energy level.
Well, I got to tell you with the voice too, because that's funny. So I bought all this acoustic equipment because I had laid on the sound table and I had the headset and I have a program that tells you what your frequencies are. I'm thinking, oh my God, like I'm going to save the world. I love this. And the guy that was selling the sound tables had a 3-year degree program. And he goes, do you want to be a sound therapist? I'm like, yes. And I had no idea what it was. I just thought it was all this equipment. So I signed up, right? And the very first day that we had like a whole bunch of different teachers. And this one, the first teacher that came out, I'll never forget, Vicky Dodd. She was amazing. She was doing sound therapy for 50 years already at that point.
Wow.
And she goes, of all the tools in your sound healing tool chest, your voice is the most important. And I'm like, what? Couldn't someone have told me that like $20,000 ago? And I said, with this voice, I'm more likely to kill somebody. And I said that part out loud. And she goes, oh, dear heart. She called everybody dear heart. It was so cute. Dear heart, dear heart. No, no, no. Don't talk badly about your voice. Your voice is the exact frequency your body needs to heal. And when I tell people about like needing their note and stuff, what that does is that if you're like deficient in note or you're high strung, you hear it. Like, and even in our language, when you say somebody's high strung, when you're upset, what happens? Your vocal cords tighten. You're
Right.
oh no, what happened? Like your voice goes up. When when you want to like yell at a dog or something, like what did you do? Like you do the lower voice. Like so, our voice changes depending on our mood. So if you give yourself the right notes and you get that tension out of your voice, now when you hum and when you sing, you're the right frequency for your body. So we can do everything ourselves. So that's why I'm so in love with sound therapy.
That's amazing. And I think about when you say singing, I'm like, you're looking at a guy who can't carry a tune in a bucket.
Me too.
And to think that's actually a healing effect.
And I love your voice. You got the most beautiful voice.
I'm glad you think so. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But you haven't heard me try to sing.
I bet you sing good. And this is the other thing too. So this is all psychological. Growing up, we all have the ability to sing, but at some point, some adult or some friend said, "Oh no, do not
shut up."
Just shut up."
Yeah.
And I think we're the only country, like in other parts of the world, everybody sings. There's no judgment. There's no like you're good or bad. Because I had a friend, I don't know if he was in India.
Unless you go on and like, America's Got Talent or something.
Oh, yeah, something like that. But this guy went to India or something, and they were doing the chanting. He's like, oh, no, I can't sing. And he's like, what do you mean? You can talk. What do you mean you can't sing? Like, they don't get it.
Right.
But over here, we criticize each other.
That's true.
And then people are like, oh, no, I can't. But no, we can all sing, and we all should sing. It's the best thing. And not just in the shower.
You say that until you go to the local karaoke, and then I'm kidding. Look, maybe we can't all sing like, Pavarotti or something, but we can sing. And
sing to yourself. That's the thing.
I was going to say, that's what really makes the difference. Yeah. Somehow I got involved with musical theater and I actually did sing in public.
You had told me that story that one day. That was so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You played every single part.
That was just weird, but it's, I never considered myself a singer, and to think that my own voice can heal myself or to kind of restabilize my frequencies in my body. I find that so fascinating. And when we first met and you first were telling me about what it was that you did, I just became fascinated. I said, I just can't believe that this is so simple.
That's why it seems so simple that you don't think it would work, right? Yeah.
So tell me now, you kind of evolved through this, right? You were a caretaker for others, constantly doing for others, and then you became a victim of a very significant, very serious illness. You did all the things, you discovered the power of sound and acoustics, and just you didn't stop. You jumped headlong into it. It's like, I'm not just going to do this a little bit. I'm going to invest in all of this equipment.
Yes.
And you jumped in and you bought all this stuff and you started doing therapy. And then as you got certified and learned more, you found all these other techniques using tuning forks and So kind of talk a little bit about some of the techniques and things that you do, and then a little bit about the technology that you invested in as well.
Okay. Well, the technology I still love. It's still one of my all-time favorite things. And when people come to my office, I call it James Bond Spa Day because I have all the high-tech stuff. And I feel like if you're having a crisis or a horrible day and you get on the sound table, it flips you like that. And a matter of fact, at one of my first sound therapy conventions I went to, I met a man that I still have to have in my pocket. So I got to track this guy down. He was ex-military and ex-police.
Mm.
And I'll never forget. He started the talk with, he goes, "I'm the guy that gets the call when the gun's to the head." Now you got to picture it's a bunch of sound therapists in a little hippie clothes and a little bowls, and this guy's like, I'm like, "Oh my god!" And so what happened? He had a black ops van, and in the black ops van, he equipped it with a sound table and tuning forks and all this stuff. So if he got a call in the middle of the night that somebody's about to commit suicide, he would run, like he would drive. Or they like, Captain, I can't take it anymore. Like they're having like flashbacks. He would drive over, grab them, put them on the sound table, play the music to them, and boom, like flip them right out of that state. And he
Wow.
saved something like 300 lives in like 5 years. And he was getting these. He lived in Denver. He was getting these into the VA hospitals to help people. That's how powerful sound is.
Wow.
And we were all like, "Oh my god!" Like we all wanted to work with him. And what I loved about him is that he was explaining that for other cops and military men, they can't open up to civilians and stuff. So he was training ex-police officers and ex-military to do sound therapy. So everyone out there that thinks it's this like little woo-woo thing with the tuning, the yoga pants, which I'm guilty, I'm wearing right now, I have to say. But the yoga pants and the singing bowls, it is intense. Like, I mean, the military are using it and professionals are getting it into hospitals, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So yes, so the sound table, what it does, your skin is like a giant ear. So when you're laying on the table and everything's vibrating, that's getting all in through your skin, into your bones, and it's making everything coherent like that. And it changes your brain waves. So you
Wow.
cannot help but relax. Like your whole body just melts as soon as it gets on a sound table. It's instant. Like it takes, I'm going to say a minute, not even a minute.
And
And
that's
that's
what
why
you that's what you experienced when you were set
that's what
up
I
when you
experienced.
at
As
the
soon
table.
as I was like, "Oh my God." So I thought that was the only way that could happen.
Right.
So that's why I bought all this stuff. Like this is like the best thing on earth. And I still recommend sound tables. Everyone should have one. Like it is like the best thing. But when I was taking, and I'm still studying with Dr. John Bouillot, he's the one that came up with the idea of, he calls it human tuning. And he has all these books on tuning the body with tuning forks. He is a naturopathic doctor and a psychiatrist, and he was a researcher. And in his lab, he has something called an anechoic chamber. And that's a
Oh yeah.
room that makes absolutely no sound. And he would go in there and he would listen to his heart, and he'd hear his nervous system humming, and he'd hear the blood swishing, and he would listen, he would make notes. And this one day on the way into work, he had an altercation with the guy at the toll booth. The guy got him very upset, but he didn't think anything of it. So he just went into his little lab. He got into the anechoic chamber, and his nervous system was going, and it was like screaming. And he was like, "Oh my God, like we're walking around and we have no idea what's going on inside when we get upset." And he was very intuitive, and he's also a musician. And he just had this intuition to go upstairs where they had a music store and buy tuning forks. And he bought two tuning forks. And he got back into the sound chamber, and he went bing, and he held them up to his ears. And he said within like 20 seconds, the nervous system went, so it went from to
So how did he know which notes to get?
He's also a master musician, so he just intuitively knew like C and G. C and G is the one. And this is what's funny. Like when you go to like a convention or something, people are trying to sell you all these big sets of tuning forks. He goes, "All you need is C and G. C and G, and then like the C, the body tuner, that's the weighted one."
Okay.
But he always has his razor hands. He goes, "But that being said," he goes, "I am a sound hoarder." And he has created over 3,000 tuning forks. And I
Wow.
bought personally about 300 of them. so, so even though you only need C and G,
But I was going to say, is C&G appropriate for everybody?
yes. So
And is it
it's
appropriate for every situation?
just about, because it's considered what they call the perfect fifth. And it's about the sound ratio.
Okay.
And it's when you do the C and G, it does create like this binaural beat and makes the middle tone and what they call the perfect fifth. But also, he said when you're playing the C and G, his tuning forks, he calls them like the Steinway of tuning forks, will ring all the overtones. So when you clang those, you're getting all the notes, even though it's C and G.
Oh,
You're getting
got it.
C and G higher, but then you're getting everything else as an overtone. And then when you buy the other sets, you bring in all the overtones as louder sounds. But it gets addictive because he's got planetary forks, he's got all the brainwave forks. So I'm just like, oh my God. So I love tuning forks as a thing. But so what I like about sound is there's something for everybody's budget and there's something for everybody's taste. So if you're not, if like you're the type of person that thinks it's woo woo and you don't, like singing bowls, you can get all the high tech equipment. And that's what I said, that's like James Bond Spa Day. You can go with the tuning forks. I love tuning forks because they're easy to carry. Like when I travel, I always have my tuning forks with me. Every time I leave the house, I have them with me. So they're always in my bag. Then if you want to go like a little bit, if you have a yoga studio and you have a stable place, you can have all the bowls and stuff lined up. You can use Tibetan singing bowls. And I love those because you can put them right on the body. And like you could be laying there. Like I was very sick one time. I used to have problems with my intestines. And this one time they rushed me to the hospital. They charged me like $5,000 because they didn't take the insurance for it. They shot me up with morphine. They did all these things I didn't want. And the next time it happened, I was in bed. I had the singing bowl next to me. I put it on my stomach and I went bong. And I did it for like 20 minutes. It got rid of all the pain like that. It was amazing. So,
What is a singing bowl?
oh, you never saw singing bowls? I should have something over here. I usually have them stacked up. Give me 1 second. I got my big one right here. This is a very big one. Oh, and this is my little mini gong. I put it on there as a cover. Okay, you're gonna laugh. I'm calling my dog snacks in here. This is my favorite singing bowl.
Oh, wow. It's quite a large bowl.
It's a big one. And like this one, I mean, this is a little bit heavy on the body, but it vibrates so beautifully. Now, I can't
So
remember
when you
dog's
strike
name
the
here.
singing bowl, it vibrates.
Yes, and if you want, I can strike it.
Because when you were saying singing bowl, I was thinking of I've seen the smaller dishes that you would rub your finger around to get
Yes, I do
the
have.
tones.
If you wait 1 second, you want me to
And
get the big one?
that's what I thought a singing bowl was.
Well, this is. They're actually. I just happen to have the big ones.
Oh, got it.
'Cause
Yeah.
I'll go to the extreme, but I have the whole set. I have a lot
Well,
more
that's
in my
okay.
office.
We could we could get some pictures
I can
of
send you
you and your
pictures
singing
later.
bowls and put them up and add them to
And
the
I
show
like my little
notes.
chimes.
Love your chimes.
Yeah, but I love singing bowls. And they have the crystal ones. They have the alchemy bowls, which have different gemstones in them, which go up to like $3,000. They're crazy.
Now, what do those add to it though?
Oh, so now you're
What makes
getting
them special?
the crystals and the gemstones because they all have their own frequencies and property.
Okay.
And they all have different things that they do for the body.
So you now have several programs that you offer for people about how to kind of return to harmony, so to speak. And actually, that's the name of one of your programs, isn't it?
Yes. So I start everybody by inviting everyone to my Frequency Fun Shop. Those are Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and that's free. And that's where we get to play with sound, and I do lots of silly exercises with you. And it's all about resetting your nervous system. So what happens when you get stressed or you get into a fight with somebody, you're having a bad day? How can we snap back? So it's not about trying to be happy all the time. It's developing that skill that when something happens, you can reset like that. So you keep your nervous system healthier because your health depends on the health of your nervous system. If you're walking around in fear all the time, and this is the big thing, what I teach, why I created the Return to Harmony program. When I was first diagnosed with lupus, I was told you have an autoimmune disease. It's incurable.
Right.
Your body's attacking itself. And the way they described it was your cells are cannibalizing each other.
Wow.
So I was imagining Pac-Man inside my body. Do, 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 do. Right? So who's going to sleep at night? And also I was in fear. And you cannot heal when you're living in fear. And that's why I call the program Return to Harmony, because it's all about, first of all, letting you know that this is not the case. Your body is never turning against you. Your body is doing everything it can to heal you. You know, and like people like even in our language, like people complain about the cold. Like they're like, well, how come in all this medicine we can't cure the common cold? And there's a reason we can't cure the common cold. The common cold is the cure, right? So when you stop those symptoms, like your nose is running to get the stuff out. When you get a fever, it's raising your temperature, so it's killing off the things that are trying to harm you. So
So all the symptoms that you're feeling are fighting the virus.
right, exactly. So that is the cure. So people are always trying to get rid of the symptoms because they're inconvenient, but then the cold lingers, right? So nature knows what it's doing. And so the way I describe what's going on with autoimmune disease, because your healthy cells are like, they're breaking down, but they're breaking
Right.
down. I call it like your body's trying to be more like Robin Hood. It's like stealing from the healthy cells to try to like save like the rest of you. And you have to put yourself back in harmony. So now like everybody can be healthy again, and your body's got the magic. It knows what to do. So that's why,
That's amazing.
yeah, it's about harmony.
So
Getting out of fear.
your Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern time,
That's Eastern time.
and that's the Frequency Fun Shop. And how do people find that?
On my website, I have it's acoustictherapeutics.com. I have a little banner for it. And also if they go to Facebook, I always have it pinned as my post with a link in it. And the
Okay,
Facebook is under SueZee Finley.
and we will make sure, and that is SUE capital ZEE.
And actually, you're gonna laugh. I think when I did my Facebook, it was still Susan Finley. So
Actually, you know what? Your Facebook is Susan.
it's Susan.
Susan Finley, Finley, for those of
Yeah.
you who are only listening to the audio of this. And we will put this information in the show notes as well. I'm so glad that you decided to share your acoustic journey with us. And I know you have an interesting story about a workshop that you did relatively recently, and you took people on a journey.
Well, this was one of my first ones. So I always learned from Dr. John Bouillot, who I love incredibly. He's my mentor. And he always used the term sound journey. And I thought,
Sound
wow,
journey.
this sounds so cool, because most people say sound bath, which sounds weird because people say, am I going to get wet? You know,
Oh, I have heard that term before,
right,
sound
sound
bath, and it
bath,
never
right?
dawned on me that it was the same thing.
Yeah, so he always said sound journey. And he always said, the sound, let the sound carry you. Like, the sound carries you to places and you can travel on the sound. I thought that sounds so beautiful. So when I was first doing this, I was just saying that because I thought it was beautiful and I thought it was a metaphor. So I did one of my sound journeys, and there were about 60 people. It was a summit. It was like the biggest crowd I ever had. A couple of my friends were there. And after I did the sound journey, the host said, "Oh, is there anybody who would like to share their experience?" And one of the ladies raised her hand, and she was, yes, yes. She was, "Oh, SueZee, the sound was so beautiful. I followed it to your home." And I'm like, I'm like, had I known you were coming, I would have cleaned. And she looks at me and she goes, "You really need to clean." And then she went like that. And I'm like, oh my God. And all my friends that know me, because I'm not the greatest housekeeper on earth, were rolling there. But it turns out, and this stuff, like, it really isn't woo-woo. So she really could, if you've heard the term remote viewing, the military uses this.
Mm-hmm.
People can actually drop in, and sound does help you to do that. So I went running back to my teacher, like, this is the thing. People can really just come to my house on the sound. And they said, yes. And like, you have to like not allow that. Like, how do I stop that? So the running joke is every time I do a sound journey, I go, you can go any place you want to go except my house.
Except my
Unless
house.
you're bringing a dustpan and a broom and you're going to leave it looking nice, and then it's okay. But
I
other than
love
that,
it.
don't come to my house. But no, so sound really is that magical. So if you need to like connect to like a loved one, a lot of people like during a sound journey said, "Oh, like I saw, my dad or my mom that had passed over." If you're sometimes we have like problems that we're trying to work out, or maybe you have, like, for me, like if I have an art project and I'm like stuck on a certain part, it'll come to me like, "Oh, this is how I can make that. This is the material I need for that." So it just opens you up and it connects you. And
I
it's a
love it. I guess that
really
would be great
beautiful thing.
for writers and anybody who's stuck
Yeah.
um, in any sort of a dilemma where they just can't think of the next thing, and because and then they stress themselves out. This is what happens, right? In any project, we get to a point and we hit a barrier, we hit some wall in progress. And so we kind of beat ourselves up. And the more you think about it, the harder it is to kind of grasp
Yep.
whatever's coming next. But this sounds like a great way to reset, and then give you that opportunity to see things maybe in a different light.
It's the exact thing everybody needs. And it's so easy no matter where you are. You, like even with the humming, you can do, I used to laugh because I thought this is silly, but it works. You can do a silent hum. You can just imagine that you're humming. So if you're in a group of people and like say, you can't say anything, someone's like maybe like annoying, but like just kind of say, okay, I got to just keep it cool. You can actually hum to yourself. Then you, without actually making a noise, like you just imagine what it feels like in your
Imagine that
body.
you're humming.
Imagine that you're humming, and your body does not know the difference. Like your imagine. I'm sorry, not your body. Your mind, when it's thinking of something, your body thinks it's real, so it's going to feel it. That's why one of
That's
my
true.
favorite
Yeah.
stories. I forgot who this guy was. They were interviewing this man, who everyone was saying this guy is like so happy all the time, and like we have to know what are you so what are you so happy about? And he goes, I'm always dreaming about skiing. I love skiing, and he lived in some like really hot climate. And you're like, when do you go skiing? He goes once a year. They're like, so how are you so happy? He goes, I dream about it every day. And it's like, I'm there. So I always think
Right.
about that. So your mind, like he loves it so much, even though he gets there maybe 1 week out of the year, he relives it every day. And we need to do that with the good things. There's some people that do that with the bad things every day. They stay upset all the time and grouchy all the time because they can't get through the past. So think about the good things instead. It's a little bit harder because we are hardwired to think about the negative. They say
Yeah.
that we negativity is like Velcro to us, right? No, I'm sorry. The happiness, no, negativity is Velcro. And like
Yeah.
the happiness stuff is like Teflon, it slides off faster. But we have to reverse that. We have to make it that the happy stuff becomes Velcro. And the only way you can do that is to keep acknowledging it and keep remembering it and stop brooding on the past stuff.
And so often we tend to live in the negative zone. We tend to we live in states of fear all the time.
Yeah.
And when you're contemplating a new project, or maybe you're thinking about changing a job, or you're in some kind of a whatever kind of a decision phase that you're in, it's been said that the first 10 things that come to your mind are the last 10 things you failed at.
Ooh.
And that makes us so much more hesitant to take that leap, to make that decision, to make that change in our life. But we have to learn to overcome that and realize that that is just our own mindset that is working against us, but your body is trying to work for you. So, thank you for enlightening us on how sound works for us and acoustics work for us. And I hope that we can get people to tune in. There's that. Pardon
I
the
always
pun
say
there.
tune into joy. I always say tune into joy.
Tune into Joy at your Frequency Fun Shops on Mondays, and look into more of what it is that you have to offer. And SueZee, just I want to wrap this up just by giving giving our listeners an idea of what you mean when you say how you can hum to reset yourself. What is that like?
Oh, do we have time to a quick little humming exercise?
Sure, why not?
Okay. So the easiest way to do this and the most fun, it's actually a yogic breath. They call it the pranayama breath. You close off your ears. It looks silly. And you close off your eyes because it just makes you feel it better. And you just inhale. And on the exhale, you just go, We'll just do 3 rounds. And
For
what that
those of you who
does,
just kind of tuned in at that moment, we weren't listening to foghorns or
but what that does though, it instantly lowers your blood pressure. It creates a molecule called nitric oxide, which is a vasodilator. It opens up all the veins and arteries and bronchioles and everything, lowers your blood pressure like that. Wow. It's also antibacterial and antiviral, so it actually keeps you from getting bacteria and viruses. So if you have a cold, it's really good to keep humming. And if you want to not get colds, keep humming because it keeps that molecule going, that nitric oxide. And it's one of the best things. And it strengthens your vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is what controls fight and flight and rest and digest.
Yes.
And if you have a strong vagus nerve, you're going to be more resistant to stress. So all that from like 3 minutes of humming. And it's good to do it twice a day in the morning and before bed.
That's beautiful. SueZee, how do people get in touch with you?
On my
We
website.
mentioned on Facebook.
Yep, Facebook, my
Is
website.
Susan, Susan Finley, Finley, and your website is acoustictherapeutics.com.
Yep, and therapeutics is spelled IX, and we say for extra fun.
Ah,
And come to the fun shops because that's where you really get to see how much, what it can do. I always joke around what happens in the fun shop. We don't want to stay in the fun shop. We want you to bring the peace and the joy and the love home. That's like our main goal because it spreads. When you take care of yourself, this was the other thing. I used to feel that taking care of myself was wrong. Like when you're a caregiver, you think you just need to take care of everybody else and you don't count.
so many people wind up in that mode. Yeah.
And that's why people get sick. The first lesson I learned, my teacher came out and said, "Why do you all want to be sound therapists?" We all went, "Because we want to heal everybody." And she goes, "No, you have to heal yourself. That is your job because when you're coherent and you're in harmony, you spread it to everybody else. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not doing anybody any favors. So take care of yourself. And so when you come and do a frequency fun shop, you're helping everybody around you, your family, your pets, your workers, co-workers."
I love it. SueZee, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
It's been a great conversation, and I've learned a lot. And even though we've talked about some of this stuff in the past, and I've even attended one of your sessions because we were at a conference together, but I really wanted to get this deeper explanation and get a little bit more of the history of how you kind of wound up doing this. So I really appreciate that, and I love how you are taking your knowledge and sharing it with others so that they can learn how to heal on their own. And so thank you, SueZee, for sharing your fire here today.
Thank you for having me.
And folks, keep listening to our shows. We are going to keep bringing you wonderful people like SueZee Finley. Take care and have a great day.
Thank you.